very flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and vegs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Refracted Curvature, Click OK, Neil, One Deck, Eli, Jin, Flat Arthur, and I'm not sure who A is, but whoever A is, and a whole bunch of people in the Flipside Discord server. Adam. So a massive thank you to all, especially the interruption. Welcome, one and all.
Morning. Yep, how you doing, everyone? Well done, and all those in the flip side as well. Wicked.
You don't know who A is.
Well, now I can see, because he said hello, he popped up, so it now says Adam Price next to his name, but in the Hangout, it can only fit 8 people, and I think the maximum is 10, so occasionally you have people linked. So at the moment, Refracted Curvature and Eli are linked together. Well, you've got Eli's handsome face on his thumbnail, so I know exactly who it is. Refracted, I can kind of see, it looks like the tongue sticking out from Rocky Horror a little bit to me, so that's kind of what his icon looks like when it's got no name next to it. But A is just, could be anything, couldn't it? Whereas now I know it says Adam Price, I can see that, but only if he's on his own separate icon. Fascinating stuff. I'm sure the live audience is really truly riveted by all this.
It could be the angle.
Is that what he said? It could be the angle. The angle of the dangle. So yeah, it's coming up for Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't normally mention where we are in the season, but it might be the case that over the next couple of days, although it's a Friday, again, I don't normally mention this, but in next week's period that you get live streams, there might be a couple of days that I don't do a live stream. I just put out an old members only show from maybe a week or two ago to substitute for the live streams. As I just found out, I didn't just find out, I'm a man, I found out ages ago, I just didn't remember that my wife has actually finished work as of now. So she's got a few days off, so I obviously may join her in those days off by not having a live stream, which isn't really having a day off as we discussed in the pre-show, but at least to a degree I don't have to set up the room and kick her out along with the kids for a few hours. So there might not be a couple of days with live streams tomorrow, just so you're aware.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, today's a real special one because you got the Maine engineer going to be showing us how to measure curvature.
Maine Surveyor.
I say engineer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Maine Surveyor. Yes. Yeah.
We were talking about engineering yesterday, so that's probably why. Yeah, we're going to be covering the Maine Surveyor, so in the pre-show we were like, that name's familiar. Is it a good guy or a bad guy? I don't know. You just hear these names and you can't remember if you haven't specifically covered them, whether or not they're a good chap or a bad chap. And that is often the way that your prefect gets allocated to the complete crap kid of the class, because he's always in trouble, so he's always being talked about in the staff room. So it's just when someone's asked, well, which kid should we make the prefect? The little runt kid, the annoying one that was always in trouble because I remember his name.
So are we doing the video after we run through housekeeping? Or are we flagging housekeeping?
Let's do housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, that's formerly known as Earth curvature.
Yeah, that'll be surface level and eye level parallel with each other. and a depression angle in between the two.
That's the antithesis of curvature. Oh, you're suggesting what they use to form their idea and belief that they've got curvature? Yes, spot on.
No, a bolt still disappear over the horizon. That's proof right there.
Yeah,
over is with respect to horizontal plane of reference as well.
Yeah, over the curve still requires two divisions of the description given by Wandek a moment ago with your parallel eye level and surface level. Well, if you've got a curve that's derived from the baseline to describe the curve with, and then you go up in altitude, there's the third, to have a angle described with respect to a curve that you've derived from a horizontal after measuring your altitude with respect to it to look over, as John's pointing out, you actually need 3 separate instances that reference a plane. Your altitude, the base, and your eye level.
Are you denying that boats do not disappear over the horizon?
Yeah, that's an effective perspective. No, I'm not denying anything. I don't make a claim about it, so I don't have to. So you've tricked me, you bastard, into answering that question, Neil. Well done. I tell people off for not answering, or for answering when they shouldn't. And you've just very subtly and slickly got me to answer in the affirmative and put a claim forward that I didn't need to. How irritating, but joyful and fantastic at the same time. Well done, Neil.
To get back to it, though, it's a moot point. Since conceding it means that the Earth's flat.
Correct. But I just don't want to be in a position to make any positive assertion. I said it's because of perspective. Why? I don't claim anything about the horizon or boats. It's not my standard. I'm not using it as proof. We are in the middle of a housekeeping session, though, so what the hell, right? Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Axial rotation is what?
The suggestion that the 15 degrees an hour observation of the star movement is actually directly connected to an axis through a plane of reference.
Yeah, so we noticed that with the stars, but it's actually Earth that's rotating.
Well, to describe that mathematically, bullshit though it is, requires an axis through a plane. You need a flat plane to describe axial rotation. It's a bit like describing gravity. Any scientific evidence of gravity, first and foremost? When describing the out-of-date 110-year-old rhetoric of Newtonian gravity, you're describing a downward vector with respect to a plane. Now, it's bullshit. Things don't move towards the Earth. Fart, and you'll know that that's not true. Look at the clouds, and you'll know that that's not true. Study gas behaviour and entropic dispersion, and you'll know that's not true. But when you make that false assertion taught to people in high school, they still need to reference a flat plane to achieve that. Now, when you describe axial rotation, the same thing's true. The axis runs through a flat plane. Doesn't matter that they tilt it. Still running through a flat plane. You can do whatever you like with it after the fact. The point is to describe it incorrectly mathematically as though Earth is a turning, non-inertial frame of reference. The frame of reference is flat. Got that from you, John.
Staying though, Nathan, is that when you say the axis runs through the flat plane, is that the equatorial plane in the centre of Earth where, you know, they say they take all the measurements to get latitude and longitude from? Is that the horizontal plane you're referring to?
Not specifically the radial derived from a Polaris minimum flat plane at 3959, but the flat plane that would be sharing the same flat aspect when describing a 3959 radius is the same plane when you've got an axis running through it. But the plane of that axis for axial rotation, it doesn't necessarily have to directly tie to the 3959 radial value. But yes, they are ultimately the same plane of reference.
Well, with gravity, you keep just referring to gases.
Yeah.
Everything else that's got
everything else that's not. What is it?
Down.
That's mass.
So,
Neil. Mass.
Yeah, mass. Dense.
Yeah, gas is in that world of bullshit where the mass is undefined anyway. They would suggest that gas has mass. Not me, them. This is housekeeping, remember. Right? It already makes me cringe that we're doing this at all. But any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Well, that's the trick, right? They wrapped it up in science when it has nothing to do with science, when they're actually just denying geography. Yeah. Science has nothing to do with the nature of Earth as far as its shape.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Well, no. Well, the radius value they give you will be derived, like you said earlier, from an elevation angle.
Any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle from a curved adjacent?
Oh dear.
No, a horizontal baseline is antecedent to a elevation angle. I mean, that's just a ridiculous question. Who thought of that question, for God's sake?
That's a good way to put it. It is antecedent.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
You know, I was looking into that, and they changed the pictures. They used to have the pictures of the E waves and S waves off a flat chart. Now they got them on some sort of ball going on a curve. Very weird.
Any evidence of pitch data existing on a globe?
No, you'll need. It's an antecedent to a horizontal baseline. That's the only way you can acquire pitch. It will require the horizontal, same as the elevation.
Algorithmic.
Same as the elevation angle, my friend.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Hold on. Pitch data is not raw data. It's algorithmic. Let's get that straight.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
Well, to measure it.
Science teacher from my son's school says it's gravity that's causing the gas to be held around the globe.
We already covered this. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container, followed by a rebuttal of gravity holds it as the container, would then result in the pre-asked question, which is any scientific evidence of gravity?
No, none whatsoever.
Any evidence that the Earth has been measured anything other than flat?
Negative. It can only be measured flat.
Well, that concludes the housekeeping.
The video we're getting ready to cover claims that there is curvature.
Oh dear.
Well, if there was curvature, John, and somebody's claiming that they're measuring it, I'll highlight the word measure, curvature, and I'm sure they'll demonstrate how they're doing that in the video. I'm sure they will.
Well, we're going to find out.
I have no clue.
Hello, YouTubers. This is Jeff, the Maine Surveyor here. I'm up here at Williams Reset. It's a geodetic survey marker up here at Portland Head.
Pause there, just on that geodetic survey marker, these are marked with the known latitude, which is an elevation angle measurement taken from sea level, and the elevation, that's the height above sea level. So we're already into flat earth sort of talk and measurements at this. Was it 3 seconds in? I can't remember.
Okay.
You know, also that concrete was leveled out. That area was made nice and flat where they put that corner.
Yeah, horizontal.
Yes.
Yeah. She's
So we've got-
72 feet up, it is.
We'll start with Wandek's point, though. So Wandek's pointing out for my audience's benefit that before he's done anything, he's taking a point that's utilising principles that take positional data based on flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements, and the height of the point that he's pointed out, this little disc in metal, is also requiring a height off sea level. Then John's pointing out that we've got concrete that's been levelled by a builder, and I'm going to point out that the tripod that he's using has also been levelled to a plane of reference for measuring Earth, because that's what we do in
And
it.
he's 72 feet up off from sea level.
Well, according to this, the geodetic survey precisely determines locations on Earth, accounting for its curve, shape, and size, using advanced tools like satellites, GPS, for vast
Stop.
areas where ordinary surveying falls short.
The GPS is a Cartesian system that uses a flat plane.
Oh dear, here we go again.
Yeah, well,
The other thing there, Neil, was you mentioned the word accounting for. Not measuring.
Well, yeah, they would have to give us a number if they're measuring, so it's the wording they use, accounting for. That's enough for some people. And Jim Panda, that's his proof of measurements. He takes you to geodetic surveying.
Also, the plane of satellites requires the orbital mechanics, which all the elements of it require a flat plane of reference.
Okay, total station set up. I'm going to backside spring point ledge light.
Pause a minute, Nathan, please.
I just
Just
wanted
a quick
to,
search. Sorry, mate. It's only a quick one, Eli. I just did a quick search on a total station, and this is designed to measure angles and distance. It's used in construction and mapping. Doesn't mention anything about curvature measurements.
someone else wants to say
Well, I mean, the theodolite's horizontal frame of reference is no more than 10 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, it needs a horizontal plane of reference for the tool to work. It's been leveled, correct?
Yeah, but anything outside of that is beyond the tool's capability of measuring angles.
Oh, you're saying that we might be doing things beyond the parameters of the equipment that's being used. That's a fair critique.
Well,
So
I'm not
is it
sure.
flat to flat?
I mean,
time,
just to
Adam.
answer Eli, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. There might be a difference in a theodolite, this total distance, and a total station. There could be a difference with them two angle
If you're
measurement.
measuring angles, if
No,
you're
but they
measuring
use the
angles,
same
it's
fundamental
irrelevant.
principle.
Eli then refracted. Go ahead.
Well, it's the same fundamental principle, though. Because with measuring angles, the specifications are in what's the document called? Wherever the specifications are, it says up to 10 miles
Go ahead, John.
accuracy.
Yeah, when measuring angles, distance is irrelevant. It's two rays intersecting, nothing to do with distance.
There.
yeah, I think
And
Eli
then
was looking for the
turn
instruction manual. The instruction manual, I think.
Which is there in the center of your screen, hard to see. I'm going to take measurements of the light tower and of the boathouse next to it. I may take some measurements of Ram Island ledge light right here. And then there is another lighthouse just beyond Halfway Rock I'm going to get some measurements on as well. And my source of information is from NGS. Last night I went to the website and I got the
What's NGS? Anybody? Hate it when people use
these coordinates off, the data sheets for these different points. So I'm on Williams Reset.
What are these numbers here?
National
Yes, it's National
Geodetic Survey.
And in terms of the points of these positional data that they've got from mapping that's been derived from elevation angles, perchance? I'm trying to lead you guys to cover this.
Yes, those digits represent a Cartesian grid system, which is planar by nature.
So he's using flat Earth
So
prerequisite positional data information then.
Of course. How else would you
Yes.
say it?
So it's just for the main surveyor. Before we've done anything, the information that you've acquired is flat Earth data taken from flat Earth measurements. So at this point, for me personally, now I don't give a crap what you do. From what I understand from this video title, you're going to take these flat Earth positional data points and suggest that you've got an Earth curve. Now that to me is idiocy, like really stupid. you've taken measurements of a flat Earth to suggest you've got sphericity. I'll just stop here and say that if you, Maine Surveyor, think there's a debate, there isn't. You've got flat Earth measurements. They're on screen now. These are your flat Earth prerequisite positional data points that you've relied on to move forward with these measurements and suggest that you've got sphericity. That's stupid. That's idiotic, dim-witted, thick. It makes you a moron because you're utilising flat Earth prerequisite measurements to suggest after the fact with calculations and angle measurements that you're on a sphere. That's really stupid. Maine Surveyor, we've never had you on the show as far as I'm aware up until now. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a flat earther named Nathan Oakley. I'm calling you stupid because you're taking flat Earth measurements and then calculating into existence a sphere you believe in. That's really, really stupid. Remember my name. It's Nathan Oakley.
It's also contradictory.
Well, I think the word we're looking for is reification. Why isn't it enough to say, "Oh no"? I mean, the conclusion that you're coming to is fallacious because you're using the fallacy of reification. Why isn't that enough for someone to go, "Oh, I see your point"?
There is no point to make after the fact that we're utilising flat Earth measurements. We're using flat Earth measurements, therefore Earth is flat. Again, from my perspective, right in the here and now, this is where I get to offer Maine Surveyor an opportunity to have a choice, like a little game show. Does he choose the rock, where he sinks to his knees and acknowledges how flat these measurements are that he's relying upon? In which case, Maine Surveyor, Earth's measured flat. Welcome to flat Earth. That's called the rock. Alternatives include the hard place, where you go, no, these measurements, no, they're not flat Earth measurements. In which case you've got no measurements to start inferring your sphericity that you believe in. That's called the hard place. What's that you do want to use? The flat Earth measurements. That's called the rock. Welcome to flat Earth.
Nathan, I think you could have said that within the first 3 seconds, because I'll just go back to the survey marker. As we've already pointed out, is giving you a known latitude, which is an elevation angle measurement, and an elevation height above sea level. So straight away is using sea level and an elevation angle taken from sea level to then go on and try and later on, probably he's going to tell us he's measured curvature when he will not be demonstrating that, I guess. He won't.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm making this conclusion as the last nail in the coffin. You guys have done beautifully. That's not to decry what you've already discussed, one deck. You've verbalised it beautifully on the live show, as has everybody else on the panel in their discussion points. So, props to Eli, yourself, Refracted. This, from me, is the last nail in the coffin, and I'm leading you guys to reiterate the points. Me then summarising. After this, I mean, he thinks he hasn't done anything yet. He thinks he hasn't started yet, doesn't he? In his mind, he's about to go forth and do measurements. No. You've already got flat Earth measurements. You're using them. It's just at this point in years gone by, the Maine Surveyor would have got to whistle past all of this stuff, wouldn't he? And then start suggesting that he's going out and measuring curve here after? No, you already need flat Earth 6 ways from Sunday before we do anything in his mind. Yeah, we're not going to be doing that no more. Earth's already proven flat. Or you haven't got anything to rely on your data points. Who's interrupting me?
Sorry.
Go on, I've stopped now.
Yeah, you stopped. That's why I went like 3 times. But if you're not finished, I'll wait.
Now we've got dead air.
I was just going to read something because you're doing a geodetic surveying and it's consistent for mapping, navigating, and engineering across the U.S. The key functions involve defining latitude, longitude, and elevation, supporting mapping, boundary setting, and critical infrastructure projects by maintaining precise reference points. So you're using They're saying they have to define latitude, longitude, and elevation. I thought they were defined already.
Well, no, they're Wandeck's point. That's what Wandeck's just gone through. And you've reiterated by taking it to the definition of how they're utilising these points. But that was Wandeck's point. He's like, no, we've already whistled past the graveyard if you suggest that this is the starting point for measuring Earth flat. I'm like, no, this is the last nail in the coffin. But what Neil's just done is reiterated Wandeck's point. We're long past proving Earth's been measured flat by the time we take these data points into account. Like I say, for your average rank and file, skank, ball-believing, numpty clown idiot, in this case the Maine Surveyor, he thinks he's about to make measurements. In other words, the game for the last 10 years is whistle past everything that's just been put on screen. Now, yeah, we're only at the 1 minute 5 mark of the video. And in his mind, this is just an introduction, right? Nah, it's not just an introduction. You're telling the audience how flat Earth is, but hoping that no one notices. That was the game up until now. Now we're going to take your stupid face, Maine Surveyor, and rub it right in your own flat Earth use of measurements that require Earth be flat. And then ask you, are you on your knees, you clown, in acknowledgement of the flat Earth measurements you've used 6 rays from Sunday? Or are you going to deny them, in which case what are you going to do now? You've not got any data points to start doing anything with. And what are you going to do, measure angles off a flat plane? Well done, you dick.
There's northings and eastings and state plane coordinates, Maine West Zone, Nat 83. And then I have these various lighthouses. So I'm going to backsite this one, Spring Point Ledge Lighthouse.
Is he about to give us the distance measurement? Let's hope so.
And then we'll turn angles to a few others. And
angles? What, like one being the surface level? You stupid clown.
Measure halfway wrong.
Just
measure? Sorry, did you just say measure? And we're just absolutely clear that this is a surveyor of Earth talking about his measurements with respect to surface level. Just in case some dickhead out there says, we're not measuring Earth flat. Yeah, it's all we ever do. And it's not like Dan the clown's suggestion that we don't only measure Earth flat's true either. We only measure Earth flat. This bull-believing clown has labelled his video measuring Earth curve. He's only measuring Earth flat. Let's get that absolutely clear. The measurement he just described was with respect to an angle that utilises surface level. Facts. You don't have to like them.
I was just going to say, Nathan, I think one of the points he's used was turning angles or turn angles. That's a term used in surveying, and that's describing the process of precisely measuring horizontal or vertical angles between specific points to establish accurate directions and relative positions of land features. So even his terminology, what he's saying, he's telling you he's measuring horizontal and vertical angles. That's what he's measuring. He's telling you that's what he's doing.
I've got a question then. So given that he's a surveyor and he understands the principle of measuring this horizontally for the angle in the vertical, why is he a lying piece of shit, lying his ass off when it comes to his title that says measuring the curve? That's what he's titled his video. Now, I'm just going to call it like it is. Maine Surveyor, you're a lying shit. Because you are not measuring the curve, and you damn well know it by your own description of what you are, quote, measuring. So you're a lying bastard. Now, as the tables turn and people start to appreciate just how flat Earth is measured, I want to know if you should be persecuted in the way that we've been persecuted over the last 10 years for your egregious lies in this regard, Maine Surveyor. You are lying in your title. Why? I want to know why Maine Surveyor has taken it upon himself to lie to his audience. Because that's all this is. He's just told you what he's measuring. It certainly isn't curve, is it?
No, everything is flat. And even the message that they use, it says includes techniques like triangulation. How are you going to triangulate anything on a sphere? It has to be flat.
By consensus, we've got the Asmongold guy with 4 or so million people supporting him that suggests that if you're just wrong in your belief, you should have your voting rights taken away. And I suggested that, no, let's make it more extreme when we show that you're wrong by having you castrated. Now, I'm going to ask the same question about this when it's an egregious lie. What should happen to the Maine surveyor for lying? He's not just wrong about his belief, and therefore by Asmongold standards should have his voting rights taken away. He's outright lying, going out of his way to deceive about what he's actually measuring, because he's just detailed it. So should we cut his balls off?
I suggest we smash his equipment up for sure, because he's not using it. He's lying
reasonable?
about that.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're just holding up a mirror to how people have behaved to us as flat earthers. Now, we're pointing out, using your own standards of your own measurements, how flat earth gets measured without exception. But in his title, he says he's measuring curve. He's a liar, a disgusting human being. And I want to know, given how much persecution I've suffered as a flat earther personally, what should happen to this liar now we know the real deal and magic trick and who the liars are? Maine Surveyor's one of them. Now, Asmongold says at the very minimum he should have his voting rights taken away. At the bare minimum. I, by extreme contrast and holding a mirror up to the scummy nature of how we've been treated, have jokingly suggested he should have his balls cut off. Answers in the comments section. What should happen to this disgusting liar named the Maine Surveyor?
He should be, as what's known in the legal trade of being dethroned or defrocked, he should be detooled at least. Detooled.
I think we should make eunuchs of all of them. Why not? How extreme should we go? I mean, I'm suggesting that I should have my kids taken away from me. That's the sort of extremes that I've had to suffer over the last 10 years. Now I'm going to start holding a mirror up. Now I'm a very gentle soul. I don't think anything should happen to the Maine Surveyor, but I would expect some of the people around me who've been persecuted by people like him for 10 straight years might be quite annoyed with him. Might be pitchforks and daggers for this lying shitbag. Not me, I'm very gentle. I wouldn't want to see a single hair on his head harmed. But given that the egregious treatment we received when you were incorrect about the sphericity you lie about measuring, Maine Surveyor, what do you think other people are going to do to you? I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't want to incite any hatred, absolutely without question. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm just pointing out, with a mirror, what we as flat earthers have had to face over the last 10 years. And now we're at the stage where it's unequivocal in terms of how Earth is measured. It's flat. Maine Surveyor's measuring it that way. And then lying about measuring curve, the lying shitbag.
Maine Lying Surveyor is what it should be. His title should read. Maine Lying Surveyor.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's Greek, because he's doing a similar thing to Eratosthenes, isn't he? He's measuring angles across the surface of Earth, the horizontal baselines, to get elevation angles and distances to linear measurements. And then he's going to imply at some point that he's measured curvature. And he hasn't. He's a liar, yeah. He's a liar, and it's fraudulent.
So we should have him locked up, persecuted for lying in terms of his fraud. So he's a fraudster. Yeah, scammer, scumbag, deceiver. Yeah, all these true words about the Maine Surveyor will be assessed by other people around us. But when I suggest what should happen to him, let's be absolutely clear what I'm doing. I'm holding a mirror up to you and how you've treated us as flat earthers. I've got Asmongold as an example in the last couple of days, saying we should have our voting rights taken away because we don't believe as you believe. Well, I don't need to believe anything. Maine Surveyor is measuring Earth flat, isn't he? Now, if you tell me, no, he's not, what, the hard place, we don't have any measurements, yeah, on your knees and acknowledge how frickin' flat you require it to be, to believe in a stupid ball, to feel you've got a justification to tell me I should have my kids taken away. Or that I should jump off a tall building to prove your belief in gravity. These are the things that have been put to me. Now, society has said that they've been acceptable. Well, you're telling me to kill myself. Literally. Or that my kids should be taken away. Literally. Or, in the case of Asmongold, that voting rights and privileges should be taken away. These are the things that we have suffered as flat earthers. Now I'm going to ask you, the lying scumbags who've spent 10 years, minimum, lying about things like measuring curve. No, you are not. You're measuring Earth flat. So should this mirror apply to you? Should this man have his voting rights taken away, his kids taken away and been forced off the top of a tall building? Should that be what happens to Maine Surveyor? Because that's what I've been told in case someone comes along and says, "How dare you persecute or suggest that we should be persecuted?" No, it's a mirror. It's what we've suffered and society has said it's acceptable. So now that it's the case that we're proving how big a liar someone like Maine Surveyor is, I want the audience to tell me, should they face the same exact shit that I've had to put up with and everyone around me on my panels had to put up with? I would say no. I would say that's absolutely outrageous. How dare anybody suggest that someone like Maine Surveyor should have his balls cut off? I mean, how dare anybody suggest such a thing? Even though that's what we've had to suffer for 10 straight years.
So I'll catch you a little bit later. So this is my back sight. I'm looking at Spring Point Ledge Light, and look how those windows and the door at the bottom all line up in my back sight crosshairs. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah, you can see the crosshairs.
Yeah, let's talk about those crosshairs.
What about the crosshairs, John?
Well, they're horizontal and vertical because you've leveled your tool. They're resting on your what you've sighted with a horizontal and vertical. If you notice, the land is with that.
That's my back sight, and I'm going to turn some angles. Okay, that's Halfway Rock Lighthouse right there, and the very tip top of the tower is splitting my double crosshairs. And you see there's another lighthouse off to the left of that, which I've never seen before because I never looked at Halfway Rock from this high.
Sorry, from this
Because you
height?
see too far.
Hold on, he said he's never seen it from this height. How would he acquire such a value in terms of measurement? What would the measurement be with respect to?
I think
Flat
he'll
plane
have
of
that, Nathan,
reference,
from the
elevation.
he'll have that from the survey marker, which is the first thing he referenced, which was telling him what his latitude would have been and his elevation, which is height above sea level. So it's already been measured for him, his height above sea level.
But he's relying upon this flat earth prerequisite elevation measurement then. Yeah, Maine Surveyor, I mean, I'm not suggesting that you should have your kids taken away from you. I'm not suggesting that you should have voting rights taken away from you. I mean, I'm not suggesting any of those things. But those are the things that, when it was suggested that we were wrong about how flat earth is, were put to me. That should happen to me. So what should happen to you, Maine Surveyor, given that you're unequivocally relying on your height off sea level? Think you should be castrated, perhaps? Maybe you should jump off a tall building. These are things that have been suggested should happen to me as a flat earther. And society said that's acceptable, apparently. I'm not in a protected group. Is heliocentric belief a protected group, I wonder?
Over 72 feet up here. I've only...
Say again.
Hold on.
Go, Neil, and I'll go.
I was going to say, if they were charging you with all that, Nathan, then it should apply to him because he's saying the same thing we're saying. He's actually demonstrating how Earth is measured flat right before our very eyes.
Yes, he is.
Well, yeah, that brings me on to what I was going to say. I mean, looking at what he's doing here, he's using the crosshairs. John's pointed out horizontal and vertical. I'm guessing he's going to be getting a distance to this lighthouse, which will be a linear distance and a vertical height from the sea level.
I was waiting for that one.
Again,
Actually, he doesn't, though. Sorry to cut you off there. He doesn't give us the distance, but he gives us the height, which is 72 feet. And he's actually made elevation angles from 6 feet and 30 feet in this video. He will tell you that in a minute.
I look at it from 6 feet and about 30 feet. So it's my first time looking at it from this
Oh, when does he mention it?
height. And that's pretty interesting. So we're going to get some...
Interesting. I think you should have your voting rights taken away. I think you should have your kids taken away. And I think you should be told to jump off a tall building. Just by reflection of what I get when I say Earth's measured flat. Because you're unequivocally relying upon a flat Earth prerequisite measurement of height off surface level, in this case sea level, for your accurate claim to be data points that you need for your bull belief. The measurements are flat. No doubt about it. There's no debating this. Obviously, you can go to that hard place if you want, but then you've got nothing to rely upon in terms of measurements, have you?
Some measurements here. I'm going to measure the height of Halfway Rock and the boathouse, and then I'm going to turn angles to that other lighthouse over there.
Hey Nathan, I've already mentioned this, but when he mentions turn angles, I'll just read it again. It's the process of precisely measuring horizontal or vertical angles between specific points to establish accurate directions and relative positions. That's what he's doing. He's telling you that's what he's doing.
I see. But his video says measuring Earth curve. So not take his kids off him, not force him off a tall building, not take his voting rights, just have him locked up for fraud then, right? Because he's a fraudster. Yeah, he's committing fraud. He's saying he's doing one thing and he's deceiving people with another. That's fraud. So you're a fraudster, Maine Surveyor. Based on this title where it says something about measuring the curve, you're doing no such thing, you lying shitbag.
Actually, false advertisement.
I mean, like I say, I'm the lover. I'm only joking. I don't care. Society will decide what happens to people like Simon Dan and Craig McNeil and Professor Dave, who's not a professor, also a fraudster, and the Maine Surveyor. All of these liars who are demonstrably wrong. No, we're not measuring Earth curve. There is no Earth curve to measure. You'll require a flat Earth to measure. You do measure a flat Earth. In all instances. It's not like we only measure Earth flat. Yeah, we do, Simon Dan. You, on the other hand, are a liar. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you should have your kids taken away from you, or your voting rights taken away, or you should be pushed off a tall building. Maybe just locked up for fraud. You complete scumbag liars, all of you.
Okay, Nathan, is he not breaking the Trades and Description Act in Britain?
Oh, definitely. There's some law that definitely requires Maine Surveyor to be locked up as a fraudster, a scammer, a scumbag, somebody to be persecuted and punished for their egregious lies, somebody that society should definitely look down upon. What kind of like we've been looked down on for 10 straight years for being right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what society will deem a reasonable standard. The standard that has been applied to me, I'm just holding a mirror up to all the scumbags and liars out there who say we're measuring Earth curve when we're measuring Earth flat.
Going to turn angles to that lighthouse to the left of Halfway Rock. And we'll see how tall that is.
Okay,
just
that's
a
it.
quick one there, Nathan. It just is it NOAA charts. Just as a point on NOAA charts, won't go into too much detail, but they do use nautical miles as their primary distance measurement.
Flat then.
And I've just pointed out that a nautical mile is measured by use of elevation angles from sea level.
So there's at least half a dozen prerequisite flat Earth measurements that he's relying upon to lie about Earth being measured spherically with a curve. He's just a liar. All of them are. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most of them, having watched a lot of the material that we produced, now know Earth's measured flat. And when they continue to persist by lying, I don't know, like Dave McKeegan. Again, I'm not suggesting that society should deem it reasonable like it was deemed reasonable to suggest that I be castrated. I'm not saying Dave McKeegan should be castrated when he takes flat Earth prerequisite measurements of the surface level for elevation profiles and suggests that they're comparable to cycles of an engine. To suggest that he's on a sphere, are just suggesting that he's a fraud, and he knows he's lying. Now, obviously, if society says it's reasonable to hold the same standard that was held against me, and that he has his kids taken away, he has his voting rights taken away, he's forced off a tall building after being castrated, that's what society says is reasonable to direct towards me. YouTube think it's perfectly reasonable. They'll leave it in my comment sections when they get directed to me by chat skanks. So just by those standards, not my standards, the standards I'm going to be holding a mirror up to you and how you've treated us for 10 years when we point out how egregious your fraudsters and your liars on the anti-flat earth side are, in this case Dave McKeegan, when talking about elevation profiles described from sea level. In elevation profiles that he's got and then compared to cycles of an engine. So he can lie about being on a sphere. Yeah, Maybe take his kids away, maybe take his voting rights away, maybe push him off a tall building whilst telling him that gravity exists. Like we've been told for 10 years. Not me. The mirror, the standard that you've put to me. Interesting stuff. Thank you. Excellent video, One Deck. We've already played through these slides in the pre-show. So if you did want to check out all of them, become a member.
Nathan, I think you might be a little hard on these guys. After all, they have been indoctrinated.
Not me. I'm not saying those are the standards I think should apply to them. I'm holding a mirror up and saying, for the last 10 years, these are things that have been put to me. And I'm saying, is it reasonable as a question that those standards laid at my doorstep for being right be laid at Simon Dan's doorstep? Like, go and prove gravity, jump off a tall building, Dan. Is that reasonable? I'm not suggesting he does. I'm asking it because it's been put to me for 10 years. Is it reasonable that I'm stopped from having children by way of castration, as has been put to me? Should that be the case for Dan? Should he have his balls cut off? Should the societal standard that's been deemed acceptable at my doorstep also be reasonable for Dan? That he loses his voting rights? YouTube think it's perfectly acceptable for someone like Asmongold to suggest that as a standard. Now, I don't think that's reasonable. I think it's fucking disgusting. But it's what I've had to put up for 10 straight years, and now I'm holding a mirror up and going, is this reasonable, you lying fraudster fucktards? Because you're all using flat earth measurements to lie about being on a ball. Because that's what it is now. It's not unclear. It's not ambiguous. You are measuring Earth flat, and you damn well know it now. So are you going to continue to lie? Because I'm going to continue to hold a mirror up for the standards that you put at my doorstep for 10 years and ask a general public if that's the same standard that should be put at your doorstep while you lie using flat earth measurements that everybody can understand. I don't think it'll be long before people start saying, as I've suggested, we always knew it was flat. And what do you think they're going to do when they stare in the eyes of someone like Dan and go, you've been lying to us, haven't you, you fraudster? When they look at Dave McKeegan in the eye and go, revolutions per minute compared to elevations taken from surface level. I always knew we were measuring Earth flat. Why have you been lying? And then suggest that you jump off a tall building to prove your belief in gravity. Or suggest that your kids should be taken away. Or you should be castrated so you can't have any more. Dave McKeegan. Or, as Asmongold suggested recently, you have your voting privileges taken away. Is that a reasonable standard, I ask, as I've suffered it with my mirror? Get used to this mirror, you fraudster scammers on the anti-flat earth side, suggesting that you live on a ball by way of utilisation of flat earth measurements. Because it's going to continue. And I hope you all shit your pants. Now, me, I'm battle-hardened to this stuff. I'm still here, spitting facts about how Earth's measured flat, while I point out the egregious standards laid at my doorstep, while I point out how fucking wrong you all are.
Hold on. Whose fault? Wait a second now. I understand what you're saying, but whose fault is that? If we would have recognized from the beginning that Earth is measured flat, we would have never gone into any gravity debates. Okay? So it's kind of our fault, too. We missed it. We didn't hold them to measurements right from the beginning of this debate. Sorry. We're responsible, too.
Yeah, well, we've suffered the egregious general public's opinion that we should be jumping off buildings and not have any more children. Now I'm asking if that's reasonable for the other people who are also in the same pond as us, as they start to realise and subsequently lie. Maybe they should get... Are you saying they should get a harsher punishment, Neil?
No, I'm saying maybe if we would have picked up on measurement right away, they wouldn't have been telling us to jump off a damn building, because we would have been telling them, what are you talking about? Gravity Earth is measured flat.
Yeah, but I don't think Nathan's saying that they should have that done to them.
No!
He's saying that because they've said it to us.
Yeah, I know that. But would they have...
Hold on, Neil.
I understand
Neil.
that.
Just let John go. Go ahead, John.
Well, I was just wondering, would they, like Nathan's pointing out, would they still hold that standard that they've used on us when they realize that it's
I understand that. I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is if we would have picked up on it earlier,
We got that, Neil, 3
they wouldn't
times. We
have been
got that.
able
If
to
we picked
charge
up
us
on
with
it, we
that.
wouldn't have done it. But I haven't turned around and said that anybody should be castrated, have their kids taken away, be jumping off tall buildings, or have their voting rights taken away. I've never said that, and never will, because it's an unreasonable standard. I'm asking, how will they feel when the audience, that's the general public, look at them? That's me pretending to be the audience, looking at Simon Dan going, I always knew it was flat, Dan, but you've been lying to me about it being a sphere. What if the next thing the general public seems fit to deem reasonable to Dan and Craig and Professor Dave is, I think you should be stopped from having children, as that is the standard laid at my door. Unreasonable standard, or that they should be jumping off tall buildings to prove gravity. I don't think anybody should be offing themselves, but that's the standard I've had put to me when it's been suggested I'm not. That I'm wrong, I'm not. Dan's wrong, Professor Dave's wrong, Craig's wrong, the Maine Surveyor's wrong, and they're lying about it at this stage in the game. And when the world catches up with them and goes, we always knew it was measured flat, because it's measured flat, how will they feel? Will they be in fear for the vitriol that they might face from the general public? Me, I fear nothing.
I think we missed
That's
one.
just a simple. That's just a simple Black Mirror episode.
Yep.
I mean, because clearly the title of that show would be called "Just Desserts."
Yeah. I hope you all shit your pants. That's what I hope. I hope, because me, I'm battle hardened. I was before I got here. So nothing you do will ever affect me. It's water off a duck's back. But I hope Dan shits his pants. I hope Craig McNeil shits his pathetic little pants when he fears the general public's reaction to their egregious fraud, their deceit, or what they're going to claim. I didn't realise I'm too dumb. Yeah, do you think they'll take pity on you? Well, you can worry about that. Me, like I say, I'm completely battle-hardened. Nothing that they've said in the last 10 years has affected me, other than to now be able to hold a mirror up to them and go, well, how are you going to react? Have I been shitting my pants? I'm still here, very much in the public's eye, even in the face of censorship and egregious ridicule. How will you cope, Simon Dan? How will you cope, Craig McNeil? How will you cope, lying fraudster Professor Dave Explains? How will you cope, the Maine Surveyor, when this mirror suddenly is looking you in the eye and people are suggesting that you should be jumping off tall buildings for your deceit and lies? Because I've not been lying. I've still had to suffer this ridicule, though, haven't I? By society standards, it's reasonable,
Right.
not by mine.
Well, Neil's point still stands, though. We should all be ashamed of ourselves for allowing this debate to happen.
Correct. And you forgot one. They told us to drink bleach too. Now you got me on your side.
Yeah, exactly. You start remembering some of the egregious things you've been told to do.
Don't procreate. That was the other one that came up commonly.
Yeah.
Don't procreate. That's right. They told us not to have any kids. You're dumbing down the world.
I like John's point though, because basically we should be ashamed of ourselves. We basically allowed it by engaging it. So if we're talking about a higher sense of awareness of what's going on, if we're talking about being held to a higher standard, we should be ashamed of ourselves for getting in the mud.
Exactly. And that's how I feel.
listen.
If I was to echo the sentiment and actually suggest that Simon Dan be castrated so we can't have any more kids, then that would make me as disgusting as they. Now, I'm not. I'm a lover. I think we should embrace these guys. They're just people. We're all the same in that regard, right? Why would we want to see our fellow man in pain? I wouldn't want to see that. Far from it. On the contrary, all these years of me saying I'm a fellow YouTuber of Simon Dan, in that regard, I see him as the same as me. And I wish him every success in YouTube. I'm sure you can hear my sentiment ringing out. Did they ever put a link in my video? Did they fuck? No, they didn't. Why not? Because they didn't respect us. They wanted to see us dead. They wanted to see our kids taken away. They wanted to see our voting privileges taken away. Why? Because they are scum. That's why. We are better than them. Let's not forget that. I don't want to see any of these horrible, egregious things that have been put at my door be suffered by my opponents. I see them as the same as me, fellow YouTubers. I want to share the love with their YouTube links so they get comments from my audience, limited though it is by the YouTube algorithmic censorship, for pointing out the fact that Earth is measured flat by everyone always and without exception, including the people lying to you about measuring curve like the Maine Surveyor did in this video today.
Just going on back to that, Nathan, I didn't listen to you guys in the pre-show about he's not concluded verbally how he thought he was measuring Earth curve. I think he put it in them diagrams. So to confirm, was he under the impression that measuring vertical drops of lighthouses at different distances from each other was measuring Earth curvature? Would that sum it up, or is there something else we need to say about that?
I mean, in that regard, although it's not necessary, I'm not making a positive claim about what he's observing. Hashtag shit shrinks, you complete idiot.
Gotcha.
In other words, no shit, Sherlock.
Well, he's just demonstrated. See, we say Earth is measured flat. These people go out and demonstrate it. They're the professionals. They're the ones with the tools. We've seen it right here today.
Yeah, I'm telling you that he should be detooled and his license revoked. Get out of here.
Why? He's showing us how he's measured it flat. Keep going, buddy.
Yeah, but he fraudulently labelled his video measuring curve because he's a lying fraudster.
Well, if people are going to look at that, well, that's why it's important what we're doing, because now when they get wind of this and people review that video, they're going to see what's obvious, that it's all flat. It's always been measured flat. Anything once he says distance, once he says height, I mean, he's condemning himself.
But wait a minute. So what's he doing in the video though? Like, is he actually surveying? Like, what's actually the point of the video? Did we get there?
Measuring curve.
Angle measurements.
He's claiming to be measuring Earth curvature when he's describing and showing how he's measured distances to lighthouses and angles.
Yeah, turning angles, which is actually, what is that one, Deck? Turning angles is the measuring of horizontal, isn't it? And position. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, then he's converting.
So in other words, like, other than outside of the profession of surveying, he's not actually doing any of that, basically. But he's not surveying anything, right?
No, he's just measuring flat Earth. That's all he's doing, and claiming to be measuring curvature.
Did you not watch it, Eli? Was you not here then? Sorry, mate.
I was here, but
Mumble.
I didn't get I didn't get to the point. That's all I'm saying. I didn't.
Yeah, I think that's what I was. He's measuring vertical angles between the distance of lighthouses, and presuming that the vertical drop from the line of sight and sea level, the difference of them heights is to do with Earth curving, when all he's done really is measure angles and distances to lighthouses and took some vertical drops between eye level and surface level. A bit like the Earth curve calculator in a way.
Well summarised, one Deck.
That is how the Earth curve calculator works. Your eye level and your surface level different, and then get two differential heights. Boom, you're in there like swimwear.
Exactly. In other words, the Earth curve mathematics is no different in the respect that it also requires you measure Earth flat. With that, though, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed. Hit me up on PayPal and Patreon and all that good stuff. I will say again that over the next few days, there may not be any live streams, or there will be maybe a couple of live streams, but less than normal, as I'm going to be working on my book, and the editing work's being done by my wife, who's finished work for the season. So if you did want to keep continuing to hit me up on PayPal, I'll be passing on that money to my wife for the editorial work that she's been doing and has been doing and will hopefully do over the Christmas period. So another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and vegs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.